Hi, good morning. I'm Cindy Lewis. I'm Vice President of Sales for CSI, Corporate Spending and Innovation. I'm super proud to be joined today by our clients from Rockall Energy. Today I have Trey Peterson, who's the Vice President of Accounting, and Wendy Gober, who is knower of all things according to Trey, but her official title is Financial Reporting Manager for Rockall Energy. Thanks for joining me today. We sure appreciate your partnership, and we're pleased about the introduction to Rockall by our partners at Enverus. So thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Why don't we get started by Trey? Could you just tell us a little bit about your company? Tell me what your role is and a little bit about your approach to payment.
Rockall Energy is an upstream E&P company. We drill wells, produce oil and gas, and sell it to midstream companies throughout the U.S., primarily focusing our efforts in Louisiana, Mississippi, and North Dakota. I'm the VP of Accounting, and my role primarily consists of being problem solver within the accounting group, talking to the engineers and the CEO, the C-suite, who don't understand accounting terms and trying to translate that for them. And then just from the perspective of the credit and AP and pay that cycle, I primarily work in my capacity to say who gets paid, how much, and what we can do overall on a weekly basis. My AP group does a lot of the legwork on that end.
Great. And Wendy, can you tell us a little bit about your role?
Sure. I am the financial reporting manager, but while I don't cut the checks or get involved in the actual payables process too much, a lot of my role crosses over into our treasury functions, so bank reconciliations and things of that nature. And then I also do a lot of the management for our accounting software that we use for everyone in the company.
Great. Thank you. So tell me, maybe Wendy, I'll start with you on this question. How are you processing payments before CSI?
So before CSI, we manually cut paper checks. So we would cut the paper checks, and then every once in a while, we'd have a vendor that would request an electronic payment or a payment by wire, and we were setting those up individually pretty much on like a one-by-one basis. So everything was a fairly manual process.
Got it. So just as a follow-up to that, what were your pain points prior to CSI? I'll let you start, Wendy.
So we've been working from home since March, and we've started running into some scheduling conflicts and inflexibilities. Our AP group had a time scheduled to be in the office, and someone upstream in the process was taking a little longer than planned in order to approve invoices, or if the mail hadn't come that day or something like that. It was creating issues for us to not have any kind of flexibility in the process.
Got it. So Trey, what made you decide to integrate CSI pay system?
For me, it was a combination of Wendy's point about providing flexibility from a physical capacity perspective. But on top of that, it was also the capability of adding time back to my people's day. We've kind of run a lean ship. And so being able to outsource a lot of the check run cycles has allowed us to add several hours back into the week of people who are already kind of overburdened as it is. If you track oil and gas, prices are down right now, and so it adds a lot of pressure to keep G&A and other costs low. And this has been a real benefit for us to be able to get more done with less.
So Wendy, did you have any hesitation? And if so, what were they?
Yeah, quite a few, actually. I'm not what you would describe as an early adopter of technologies at all. And Trey kind of drugged me along kicking and screaming a little bit in the early stages of the process. I didn't know how it worked. I didn't understand the virtual card system, like what the process was going to look like.
So what was your initial experience with CSI? Trey, I'll let you take that one.
The rest of the group really did a lot of the legwork getting this fleshed out. My role really started off from a higher level, kind of getting some of the due diligence done from y'all's perspective for the KYC, know your customer, and then after the fact being in kind of the integration, troubleshooting, that perspective. The know your customer portions, while due to the structure of our company, were very complicated, and y'all's group was great at kind of going back and forth and being very patient, as when you're private equity backed, you only have so much insight into the very high level owners of the entity. And then from there, moving into the actual adoption and the kind of quality control troubleshooting aspect, the CSI team has been very diligent and kind of, as issues arise, working through those and resolving them so that we can kind of continue to move down this path very quickly. And I've been very pleased with it.
That's great. We're super excited about, like I mentioned before, our partnership with Enverus and the upcoming integration with Open Invoice. So to that end, tell me what you thought about the integration or the implementation process. Maybe Wendy, I'll let you take that one.
Sure. We had a pretty big concern that we weren't going to be able to actually utilize your system at all at first, because we're on an older version of our accounting software that we're on. And we were able to set up just kind of a canned EDI format that already existed in our system and turn that over to you guys. And Stephen and the folks in your IT group were able to take it and translate it and build everything that we needed around it. Like, we didn't have to do anything. It was really awesome. And it was completely cost-free to us to be able to implement.
Cool. So kind of on the heels of that same question, what was the training like for you?
It was really thorough. You guys did a great job of not just handing us off a product at implementation and saying, okay, thanks, bye. You followed up. We've had several weekly calls following the actual implementation so that you could get feedback from the vendors and make tweaks and get our feedback on the process. And it was really top notch.
Great. So do you feel like that your pain points have been eliminated so far?
I would say yes, for sure. We've really been able to limit the number of times that the AP group has to go into the office, which was the goal to begin with. And we're able to issue payments completely remotely.
That's awesome. So what does your payment process look like now? Maybe Trey, I'll let you take that one.
Now a normal week looks like Monday or Tuesday, I'll kind of come up with the number that we want to spend for the week, and then I'll communicate that number to my AP group and to some of our ops guys, and then we'll collectively come up with a list of people that we want to pay, usually Wednesday afternoon. That will generate the EDI file Thursday morning that Wendy was referring to and pass that over to the CSI team. And then the last few weeks as a group, we would get on a phone call and import, approve, and review it together so they can kind of point out different warnings and pop-up boxes and other issues that could potentially arise with those EDI files. And then from there, we've simply approved it, and we've gotten the CSI linked into our bank, and the money usually pulls from our account 2 to 3 days later. And it's as if we ran the checks ourselves, and fortunately, it's been great for us.
That's great. So Wendy, anything to add to that? What the payment process looks like to you now?
Yeah, what I really like about it is, before they were spending time doing things like the manually folding and stuffing checks into envelopes. So if we were to double the size of our check run, we double the amount of time that it took. And so now that we can just generate an EDI file, we don't have to add any time to the process at all. And that way our group is able to spend time on account recs and other analysis.
That's great. Any final comments to add? I sure do appreciate your time again today. We appreciate your partnership and your business, and just look forward to a great future as it relates to the partnership between Corporate Spending Innovations and Rockall Energy. Any final comments or thoughts?
We appreciate y'all, and we appreciate all the work y'all put into getting us organized and ready to go so quickly.
Thank you.